Hello, and welcome to Research Group 6 project on knowledge sharing and international integration. The future and present of business is global. Currently, the two largest markets, the US market and the Chinese market, attribute over a quarter and a third respectively of the GDP to international trade, both imports and exports. And this trend will only continue in the future. Events around the world can directly affect domestic markets, such as the Suez Canal's blockage earlier this year, directly affecting domestic markets across the world. Some companies rely heavily on foreign workers. Oman, for an example, has a foreign workforce of over 1.4 million workers in 2020, about 20% of the total population of the country. There are many incentives for different companies for going global. Multinational enterprises are companies that operate in multiple countries. These enterprises benefit from greater access to foreign markets, as well as gain access to new, sometimes cheaper labor markets. The size of these companies tend to benefit consumers as well as them, able to do economies of scale, allowing them to produce things that they otherwise would not do as effectively. They also allow for larger and larger markets, both domestically and abroad. However, entering the global market is not easy. There are a multitude of different challenges that accompanying companies have before even considering a consumer or a product. Some of these are language barriers, time zones, and cultural differences. One such company is Walmart. Walmart faces language barriers with its different international companies, such as within China and the US. They also operate in different time zones. Just Walmart operating in the US and China operates in over 9 different time zones. There are also many different cultural differences between places such as America and China that may hinder Walmart, such as business negotiations are different in the US and Asian countries, as well as different cultural customs like giving gifts to managers. How do these organizational problems translate into consumer problems? There are many problems that is translated from this. The main ones being localization problems, or how to effectively translate a product or service into a foreign language while keeping its appeal. There's cultural understanding on how we can ensure the product or service can fit or benefit from the culture it's put in. And cultural tastes. How can we alter our product or service to better appeal to preferences from different cultures? One example of a company that fails to do these is Best Buy. Best Buy domestically in the US is very successful, yet has consistently failed in foreign markets. Why? Best Buy has failed to realize the difference in these markets. For example, consumers in Europe prefer smaller shops instead of the larger box stores that Best Buys tend to build, not only in the US, but in foreign countries. Consumers in China mentioned that Best Buy didn't differentiate its products from domestic firms, and like Europe, preferred smaller, more conveniently located stores. How could Best Buy have avoided these problems? They could have avoided these problems by knowing the difference in the markets. Now more than ever, companies who want to compete globally must also think globally and in the different markets across the world. So what are the solutions to these possible problems? Any solution to these problems must do 3 things. They must help us understand and reconcile cultural differences, both organizational and consumer-based. They must find a consistent way to translate the value of product or service into other cultures. They must also be able to actively participate in different cultures so that we can keep track of cultural and market changes. There are 2 primary ways that helps us do this: knowledge sharing and international integration. But what is knowledge sharing? Knowledge sharing is the tacit or explicit exchange of cultural, technological, or procedural knowledge and innovations across a multinational enterprise. Tacit knowledge sharing is knowledge sharing that is often undocumented and more experience-based. These can be seen in apprenticeships, tutorships, or cultural experiences such as studying abroad. Explicit knowledge sharing is often documented and is something that someone can learn without having experience in the field. These can be things such as process manuals, cultural training courses, and engineering schematics. Well, why is knowledge sharing so important? To maintain a competitive advantage, companies must use knowledge sharing to distribute disparate innovation to their other business units. They must also use it to keep up with global markets. As global markets change, you must use knowledge sharing so that you can remain within that market without falling behind. They also do this with maintaining high customer satisfaction. If customer satisfaction change and consumer taste change in foreign markets, knowledge sharing provides companies a way to maintain they know what consumers want. They also help by maintaining competitive advantage by cultivating innovation. Using knowledge sharing, companies can combine the brightest minds from across the world with different experiences and backgrounds so they can greater innovate and create new services and products. But why may a company be shy away from knowledge sharing? Some companies see that knowledge sharing as a potential waste of money and time. They may think that it is too complex or that it is unneeded and that their current processes are good enough. One company, PharmaCorp, attempted to try to facilitate knowledge sharing but failed. What happened? In 1999, PharmaCorp decided to shut down their knowledge management team due to failures in the department over the past 3 years. But why did the knowledge share fail? PharmaCorp didn't specify what kind of knowledge it wanted to share, so employees didn't know what knowledge was important and became too fragmented and complex. PharmaCorp also focused on knowledge that could be expressed using computer programs, meaning tacit knowledge, which is largely experience-based, was mostly ignored. But how do we promote knowledge sharing? For a policy to properly promote knowledge sharing, it must distribute new, accurate, and relevant information widely to all relevant parties and organizations, while encouraging all parties to participate in the exchange of new ideas. The ways to do this is by encouraging several forms of knowledge sharing, recognizing and rewarding employee success, and hosting regular meetings for staff to share and contribute knowledge. But what is encouraging several forms of knowledge sharing? When a company encourages several forms of knowledge sharing, they are allowing for multiple mediums of their wide range of employees to learn this new knowledge. This helps promote cultural diversity in the workplace and provides multiple avenues for employees to communicate with other business units. But how does this look in practice? This can be seen when companies promote different mediums so that different employees can understand the same thing. This can be seen by translating brochures or news articles into multiple languages so all employees can understand it. One company, Crowley, is known for promoting a specific social media to do this. In 2016, Crowley implemented the use of Microsoft's Yammer, an enterprise social networking service used for private communication within organizations. The effect of this was the implementation of Yammer allowed different areas of the company to see what others were up to see new employee successes, and allowed more engagement between these employees. Another way to promote knowledge sharing is recognizing and rewarding employee success. By recognizing and rewarding employee success, employees are encouraged to engage with one another and share their ideas in an attempt to earn such rewards and recognition. Another way to promote knowledge sharing is hosting regular meetings with staff to share and contribute knowledge. By holding consistent meetings, staff have a dedicated time in place for them to talk to one another and engage in one another and share their knowledge and ideas. But how may knowledge sharing change management? For lower management, knowledge sharing may be seen as a more tacit-based approach, as managers try to show employees through tutorship or apprenticeship things that they have learned. For middle management, it encourages knowledge sharing, promoting avenues, and scheduling meetings so that more people have more options for knowledge sharing. For upper management, this is more organizational. For example, creating media for the company so that users can interact better with each other, or promoting foreign exchange programs. The next way to solve the problems with international business is international integration. International integration is normally seen as the opposite for local autonomy, where local autonomy is where separate local operations operate autonomously to the HQ, almost completely separate, except for specific policies or practices. International integration is where not only do these local operations interact with each other and collaborate with one another, but their upper management is often part of the HQ, promoting and creating almost a single unit across the entire company. But why is international integration so important? International integration raises higher customer value by allowing to decreasing costs and allowing for better quality. It also lowers global costs by promoting different avenues of trade and creating flexibility among the supply chain. It also helps companies compete globally. By decreasing global costs and increasing higher customer values, different companies are able to compete in a wider range of markets against more domestic firms that may have an advantage due to their proximity to their market. But why may a company shy away from international integration? Many companies may see collaboration between their different branches and see that it can become codependence. They may think that if one branch starts to falter, that it may bring other branches down with them. They may also see it as an increase in cost in the short term, and many companies don't think that they can afford it. But how do we promote international integration? For a policy to properly promote international integration, it must ensure that for a policy to properly promote international integration, it must ensure that the company is better integrated and better works together and collaborate. This can be seen through vertical integration, horizontal integration, and joint venture. Vertical integration is an aggressive strategy in which a bigger company takes complete control over one or more stages in production and distribution of a smaller company. This can help companies by smoothing supply chains, making distribution and after-sales service more efficient. Increased entry barriers for new entries can also hinder competitiveness. Investment in specific functions that develop its core competencies make vertical integration better the company. Horizontal integration, on the other hand, is when a company performs an acquisition of a related business to gain entry and establish a foothold in a foreign market. If horizontal integration helps promote economies of scale and can achieve a higher production than companies merged at a lower cost. For an example of this, we can look back to Walmart. In the late 1976, Walmart purchased Taiwanese grocery store chain Trustmart, but only their branches that were located in mainland China. By doing this, Walmart utilized horizontal integration to enter the Chinese market before many of its competitors could. Another way to promote international integration is through joint ventures. Joint ventures provide companies with the opportunity to obtain new capacity and expertise by working together on a specific task or problem. But how may international integration change management? At all levels, management will become more diverse because it's professionals from different cultural backgrounds with different strengths and experience we have to hire. Not only this, different international units become more connected, and so upper management from these different international units will have a higher chance to be promoted, leading to more diverse upper management in the HQ. In conclusion, organization problems, when going international, can be solved by promoting knowledge sharing and promoting international integration. Thank you.